So in the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. So, are you a student or do you work now?
I am currently working in an engineering consultation firm, but I was student back up until last November. So,
Okay. So, why did you choose this job?
well, from my childhood, I was a curious guy. I liked to see how systems and how things work. So I was into engineering from since childhood, but as I grew up, I was uh, leaning towards data science and computing a little bit. So right now, what I'm doing is a mixture of both engineering and computer science. So I think I'm on the right path to pursue my dream career so far.
Great. And so let's talk about your daily routine. How is your daily routine?
Yeah, I wake up, I prepare myself a cup of coffee, and then usually take a shower in the morning. And these days we're working from home, so I just get my laptop ready and log into my system and see if there is a project assigned to me. I'll keep working on that. Otherwise, I just stay online until my workday is off at around 4 or 5 p.m. Uh, I'm free to do my personal activities and
Okay.
with those taking my dog out for a walk and getting some stuff done on the computer and uh, going back to bed again. The cycle keeps going.
Right. And is there anything about your job you would like to change?
Oh, well, sometimes I personally prefer to be free on the weekends, but sometimes the workload can drag into the weekend, and uh, that can become a little bit frustrating over time if you don't get enough break. So I think that workload, I would have liked to see that adjusted more into weekdays uh, than overflowing into my weekends, which is all right for now.
All right. And now I'd like to move on and ask you some questions about shopping. Now, who does most of the shopping in your household?
Well, I am doing most of the shopping, but let me be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of shopping. I usually end up buying everything I need in the first store. So,
Okay. And what type of shopping do you like and why?
well, I personally like electronics and tech stuff. So I think I like more of like or sports and outdoor gadgets. Those and and also some of your it's just mostly electronics and outdoor tools and sports kind of uh interest me more. Not a big
Okay.
fan. I mean, I do like shopping for clothing and stuff, but I wouldn't spend too much time on that.
Okay, cool. That's just the end of the first part of the test. Let's move on now to part two. So now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Describe an important event in your life. There are your bullet points. I'll give you 1 minute to make notes. You can start making notes now. Go ahead. All right, you may start speaking for the 2 minutes. Go ahead.
I'd like to talk about my immigration experience, which happened back in 2012. I think that's one of the most important parts of chapters of my life because I've had to leave my friends and family, my hometown, and everything to pursue bigger dreams. Uh, I actually came here with my parents, with my mom and dad, and uh, it was an important life event for me because I had to plan everything again and uh, make sure I'm able to have a livelihood and able to progress on my academic and career goals. So, uh, well, what happened is that my dad one day decided, and he was like, okay, we're applying for Canadian citizenship, and I was like, I was a child back then, and I was like, no, it's cold in Canada. We should go somewhere else. But I now realize how I am now thankful, and I realize how valuable his decision was in my life, and it actually took my life into a whole different direction. And now I think I am happy that this major event has taken place in my life.
Okay. Right. We've been talking about an important event in your life, and now I'm going to ask you some questions related to this. So, what days are important in your country?
I think there is several cultural dates that are celebrated throughout the country, and one of them is Nowruz, I guess, which is the start of spring and the beginning of the Persian New Year. And yeah, that's one of them. The other one is I think Charshamba Suri, that they actually people uh, go around the bonfires and try to gather with families just before Nowruz. And this is just like this is the another special celebration in
Right. Okay. And why is it important to have celebrations, do you think?
Well, I think ultimately the purpose of life is to pursue happiness and to do things that gets us closer together with families, with friends, and uh, helps us have a good time around them. And those are just, I think, excuses to bring us closer together and let us have a quality life with our
Okay.
loved ones.
Cool. And how is the way your national celebrations are celebrated now different from the way they're celebrated in the past?
Well, yeah, the environment actually has has a key role here, and I have to admit, moving up here, things are you're less likely to spend that much time on the things you used to celebrate in the past, because both the environment is not really very like demanding in that case, and also your time and your schedule is not really adjusted with the celebrations of another country. So you might be working full time, and you might not even be able to celebrate Nowruz or your other cultural events when you're working or living in a different country with different celebrations and different types of cultural influences. So
Yeah. And do you think any new national celebrations will come into being in the future?
new celebrations are actually possible, but not very likely. So I think right now with the economy and the market, how every additional day of stat holidays can actually hurt the economy and people's livelihoods. So it's not as easy as it might sound. It is, but it is possible. Still, I mean, there might be a new occasion, might be like some good events happening, making people start celebrating those events in the future. But it's gonna be coming at a cost, and not something that is very likely to occur in the near future, I suppose.
All right. And what are the benefits of having events that many people around the world are celebrating on the same day?
Well, if everyone is celebrating on the same day, like date or location, those can be uh, good indicators of how big that event is, and if something is celebrated across many countries, let's say Christmas Day, uh, or Boxing Day across many countries, you have uh, a higher like sense of it's like you might feel it's a more uh sophisticated thing it actually is, because many people are doing it, and you're not the only one. It might kind of motivate you to do your best to prepare for that holiday.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is the end of the mock test speaking.
Do you want to know what band score you'll get in the IELTS speaking test? Perhaps you want to improve your performance and prepare yourself for the real test? Then why not book an online mock test with us that will last for 25 minutes? 12 minutes of the test itself and 13 minutes of comprehensive feedback, plus we'll give you useful tips on how to make your performance better. So, we know how to help you. Join us.
Okay, that was a lot of talking. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you give me this feedback, because I know this will help me. This is exactly what I need.
Although my job is hard, I enjoy doing this.
The last time I'm going to on the exam day, you should make sure. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to talk about
IELTS Academy for our generation.
Hang out movie and talk about what's in the movie and film. So, we were talking about synonyms for film.
How was it? How do you feel?
I felt a little nervous at the beginning because I think especially for the second part, it's hard to come up with new ideas to
Right.
because I mean, you have important life events, but why was it important to you should be part of the answer, and that is a little with my limited sleep I got last night, it's hard to get new idea to make new ideas, but
yeah, that's very important. Okay, we'll come to that in a second. We'll go through all the the 4 criteria of IELTS speaking test, and first we're going to have a look at your score. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that you didn't sleep very well. I mean, that really is a very important factor to definitely have a strong brain and a brain that's been very well rested. And we'll get through all of that. So let's first go on to fluency and coherence. So yeah, you had strong range of connectives there. You were very conversational and you sounded very natural to me, very coherent. The speed of your speech, it was good, because examiners, they do not encourage people to speak fast because you're going to make more mistakes. So I reckon the speed was okay. It was good. And you had at the very beginning, you had the very first question I asked you in part 1, it was rather short. I mean, these questions should be short, but then you did get longer. You were answering with expanding more and elaborating a little bit more. Obviously, shouldn't be too long because it's part 1. The longer elaborated, when you elaborate on those answers, that comes into part 3. So just that one bit there. So some of these answers were very long and very well detailed. You did have some here and there, but that's obviously for you, that's not language related, in my opinion. That was topic related. You were looking for an idea, you were looking for a topic, and you could have maybe used a few connectives, like, if I were to talk more about this, I would say, just to eliminate those ums and ahs, those fillers. That could easily be achieved by you. So again, speed was very good. You had some self-repetition here and there. It wasn't frequent. It was rare. You had a bit of self-repetition, but thing is, you kept going with most of your speech, except for that part 2. So everything that you did in all the 3 parts, you did manage. I mean, except for part 2, sorry, part 1 and part 3, you did manage to elaborate and talk about. It was just that last 10 seconds of part 2 that got you down on this whole thing. So sorry to keep telling you about this, but that's the way it was. So yeah, very, very good altogether. Let's go to Lexical Resource. So this is your vocabulary. I didn't have any problem with your vocabulary, actually. I thought it was very strong, very expanded, and you could easily pronounce complex words. I didn't see you particularly have any problem with that. So that wasn't an issue in my opinion. And you got away with that nicely. Let's go to grammatical range and accuracy. So you were very relaxed in forming these complex structures in any sentence. Your past tense, present, future was all very spot on. I don't think you made any no mistake there. One grammatical error I got written down. There's just one. It's like we don't get enough break. We don't get enough breaks. Maybe if you had the S on the end, so that was a little grammatical error. But aside from that, you were very relaxed, and most of your sentences were very well structured, and you didn't have problems with any clauses or prepositions or anything like that. It was just that one grammatical issue there. Get enough breaks. That was it. And then pronunciation. So I didn't have any problem with your pronunciation either. It was, very good intonation. You sounded very conversational. The intonation, obviously, English, the English language is a stress-related language, and the intonation and stress levels were fine. I didn't see any pronunciation problems with any of your complex words or sentences. So yeah, that was great.
I actually got 8 a couple years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, on the speaking section. That's why I was wondering if I could increase it by another band, and then band
you can easily do that. And I'm going to give you like one tip now, just to make sure you do that, is when you're in part 2 and you run out, let's say that your brain is not working like it usually does, like the incident that just happened now. You've suddenly run out of an idea, and oh my goodness, that's never happened to me before. Why am I out of ideas? Have a subtopic, just lie or go off topic. If you went off topic for that last 10 seconds, just say, okay, now I want to talk about blah, 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 blah. Start going into the details on that. That's it. That's your 2 minutes over. And then your band score would have been completely different. It would have been definitely, in those higher sections that you referred to, the speaking test that you took all those years ago. And you can increase it from that. And you probably could go over to get your 9. What you definitely just need to fix that one little idea problem that you had in part 2. And then you can go on to stuff like, try to eliminate a few of those fillers like ums and ahs. They were not frequent, like I'm saying, it was very rare. But in order to get a 9, it definitely instead of those ums and ahs, just use connectives, and linking sentences. Maybe refer to the question a little bit more, paraphrase just a little bit more to show, because your command of English is spectacular. You just need to show the examiner that you can do that. It's that simple, just to eliminate those little problems. That goes under the fluency and coherence, and that's all. Those little polish ups would get you into that situation. Of course, first of all, definitely have your idea ready, in order that you don't suddenly go into the situation and the problem of running out of an idea to talk about in part 2. Because even though you might have a very strong command of English, you might be faced with a topic that you can even talk about, but not for up to 2 minutes. So that's a very good technique. Go off topic. You will not be marked down for lying or going off topic, just as long as you address the question, answer the bullet points, which is what you did. All you needed was 10 seconds of that sub-idea, that sub-topic, and it would have been over for you. So yeah, that issue.
Time management of that part, because you only have 1 minute to prepare your answer.
Absolutely. And it's not very much, it's not long. You see, that's what I tell other candidates. It's not a long 1 minute is nothing to prepare little notes. So the best thing to do would be to have keywords of your story. So write down keywords that you remember in your idea to talk about and elaborate on a little bit more. And then you just whiz through them, and then make sure you sort of spread that out equally. And then at the very end, if you feel like you've covered all the bullet points, like you did, and you say, oh goodness, what am I going to talk about now? Maybe underneath, after you've written down your keywords, write down your subtopic, the off topic, because you can talk about that. And once you've covered all that time, that's it. Your 2 minutes is definitely up, and then you're good to go. So that would be definitely a good technique to use. So that's your part 2 situation, hopefully fixed. And then, like I said, with the fluency and coherence, I wouldn't bother looking into your lexical resource, grammatical range, accuracy, or pronunciation, because they didn't really have much of a problem at all. Just that one grammatical mistake there, get enough breaks. You just had the plural on it. We don't get enough breaks, and that would have been fine. So yeah, I would definitely just work on your fluency coherence to use those connectives, those linking words, and of course, never forget the situation in part 2 that we spoke about. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions?
No, I really appreciate your feedback. I'm gonna go work on them, and then we can set up another mock test